Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Tomas and happy 2025, you guys. It has been so long since I posted my last video. I believe it's been like a month and a half, maybe a month and a week, something like that. It's been a long time and I've missed filming and creating content for you guys so much. So it is so amazing to be back. I am super happy. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, when I was putting out my holiday content, I did mention that my brother's wedding was coming up at the end of 2024 and I was also going to be traveling back home for the holidays, and that did happen. And when I was back home in Florida for the end of 2024, we had first the wedding, which was amazing. It was such a beautiful ceremony. And then I stayed home to celebrate the holidays with my family. So I spent Christmas and New Year's with them. And my plan was to get back on YouTube at the beginning of 2025 as soon as I came back to LA, because I knew that I really wouldn't have time to film while I was back home. Even though I did try, I really didn't have that much time. But I knew that I was going to get back to LA super early in January and just jump right back into it. However, that is not how things went down. For those of you who might not be quite familiar or might not really know what is going on in Southern California, since January 7th, there have been some devastating fires here in Southern California and around the Los Angeles area. The two main fires are the Palisades fires and the Eton fires, and it has been such a crazy and scary time. I actually had my cousin from Argentina visiting. She was with me in LA at the beginning of January, and I was gonna film as soon as she left, but she actually left on the 8th in the morning. She was able to get out of the city before things went really crazy and really scary. So I'm super glad that she was able to get out in time. For those of you who might not be quite familiar with the layout of Los Angeles, I actually live in the city, so I was not too close to the hills that were on fire. However, on January 8th in the afternoon, evening, there was a new fire that started, the Sunset Fire, and it was here around Runyon Canyon, and that is really close to where I live. So I actually had to evacuate my home on the 8th, and it was a really scary time, packing everything. And I had I believe 15 minutes to pack everything and get out, because it just started so out of nowhere and we got the notice of evacuation so quickly. And it was a really scary time. I was able to get out, and I took Fry with me. I also have a roommate named Ellie. For those of you who know her, she was also able to get out. Everything was fine. We were both able to go separately to friends' houses who live further away, to not be in any of the warning areas around the city, since we were so close to that Sunset Fire. I stayed with my friend for a couple of days. They were thankfully able to contain that fire and put it out really quickly. So I was able to come back home once things calmed down. I also wanted to take a little bit of time to wait for the air quality to get better. As of right now, the fires are a lot more contained than they were back then, of course. However, some of the fires are still very much going on, and it has been so devastating, so awful to see the impact that they have had on so many communities. So for the last couple of weeks, I've actually been really focusing on that, making sure that everything is good. I downloaded a couple of apps, as everyone living here probably did. I have Watch Duty and the Citizen app on my phone with the alerts on, just in case anything happens. I have the notice and I can evacuate again if necessary. I have also been trying to volunteer and donate and help as much as I possibly can. I actually went to a couple of donating centers and was able to donate to some of the communities affected, which was so incredible. And I've been trying to volunteer, but it's wonderful to see the community, how everyone's come together to try to help each other in these difficult times. And so many of these volunteering centers have actually been packed with donations and people volunteering to help out. And it's wonderful to see. It is so amazing. If you guys want to make your own research and look more into it, or you want to help, you want to donate, you want to volunteer, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be linking some of the most helpful links that I've been following in the description box down below. So you guys could definitely go ahead and check those out. You can make a donation, or if you live in the area or you want to come volunteer or help out in any way, I'm going to leave all the info that I've been looking at down in the description box down below, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But as the days progressed, I really wanted to get back into the channel and try to go back to normal as much as possible. So I really wanted to get a video out for you guys, my first video of 2025. I am so happy to be back. And I was thinking what kind of content I wanted to start putting out at the beginning of the year. So I've been looking at what other content creators in the space of interior design have been putting out. And I've been seeing so many people putting out videos of their 2025 interior design trends that they either hope to see this year, or styles that they think are going to be trending this year. However, I wanted to kind of put my own twist into it, since I don't personally love following trends, and thankfully home trends don't change and evolve as fast as, say, fashion trends. However, there are trends that can be seen year after year really go very popular and in the mainstream media and people following. So I do try to kind of stay away from that. That way our homes are evolving with ourselves and through time, and we're not constantly changing things around the house. So instead of doing my 2025 design trends, I wanted to do the top 10 things I would love to see in interior design in 2025. So I try not putting them really in a specific order, but I will go one by one. I have 10 things that I would love to see in interior design in 2025. So let's just get started with number one. For my number one, I have pattern on pattern. Mixing patterns is something that I love to do in my own design style and in my own spaces, and it is something that we're seeing more and more of, especially towards the end of 2024, and I really hope we see this into 2025. I think that mixing patterns can be such a beautiful technique to add a lot of visual interest and texture and dimension into your space. It can be so interesting, and it is so beautiful to look at. I think that if done in the right way, it can be so beautiful and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Mixing patterns can be through the use of wallpaper or textiles, throw pillows, throw blankets, on your linens, on your fabrics. It is such a versatile technique that you can incorporate into your own home to add that layer of visual interest. I love it, once again, doing this in my own spaces. Mixing patterns in throw pillows is such an easy way to incorporate this, and it's something that can be changed and reused around the house, moved around. If you're using slip covers on the throw pillows, that can be easily swapped. So really layering the patterns on a space can create a lot of that visual dimension and depth and texture. I just love it so much. And I have definitely been seeing a lot of designers incorporating this mixing patterns into their own designs so much more on their later projects, and it is so wonderful to see. I think it is such a unique technique, and I would love to see it kind of evolve more with the general public and people not being afraid of really mixing a lot of patterns in their own spaces. I think it can be something that really levels up your space so easily and so beautifully. Number two, I want to mention the use of skirts. Now, skirts are something that is very traditional, and we could see uses of skirts a lot in, say, the 90s. However, I think skirts are having a comeback, and I, again, love using skirts in my own space. Last year, I did an apartment entryway makeover where I actually made a custom shoe rack, and I incorporated a skirt on it to kind of hide, kind of like a curtain, to hide the shoes behind. And skirts can be used as a curtain. You can use it under the sink. You can use it at the bottom of your couches as a beautiful detail. We've seen this used a lot through slip covered sofas, but I think we can really evolve this and use skirts in so many ways. It's a way to add a textile and texture into your space, and I think it's so delicate, so beautiful. It is so classic, and I think it's something that can be really timeless when you mix something so traditional like a skirt into your space that might be a little bit more contemporary or modern. It can really make your space feel really timeless because it is such a traditional and classic look. So again, it just softens up a space. That added layer of fabric can be such a cool thing to do in your own space. So yeah, I really want to see skirts being used more, whether that's on a shelf, on a rack, under a sink, on furniture such as an ottoman or a couch. I think that it is such a beautiful little detail that really finishes a space. I think this leads me perfectly into my next point, which is back to traditional, going back to the basics, to the classic looks. I think that traditional design is so beautiful, and it's something that I really base my personal design style on. I think that traditional design is extremely timeless, and I am seeing designers incorporating traditional pieces, whether that's furniture, paint colors, architectural interests, whatever it may be, that feels really traditional into your own spaces. It really is just making everything feel very timeless. I think that for the first time in a while in interior design, we're starting to see designers and people create their homes, making them feel really timeless and not following specifically a trend and taking it too far off, like farmhouse trended in the 2010s. I think that we're really stirring away from all of that and trying to make our spaces feel as eclectic and as personal and as timeless as possible. So going back to traditional is something that I would love to see this year. For my number 4, I want to talk about the use of dark, moody, and bold colors. I love incorporating dark colors into my interior design. I painted my entryway this dark chocolate brown. I painted halfway of my room this beautiful dark plum burgundy color. And I've been loving incorporating those shades. And it doesn't just have to be with paint on the walls, it can be with big pieces of art, with darker wood stains, with darker furniture, darker textiles. Incorporating darker tones, it is such a classic and I think elegant look. It really levels up a space. I think that light and airy spaces are so beautiful and will always work. However, trying to go a little bit moodier and bolder with your color choices or stain choices in 2025 can really make a big statement in your space, and it combines beautifully with a lighter and airier space, so you don't have to go a full extreme with one or the other. Mixing both of them and blending them can be such a beautiful technique. So yeah, I definitely want to see a lot more bolder colors. Experimenting with paint can be such an easy and impactful change that you can do into your space. However, if you don't really want to paint your space or you're scared to go that far, there are smaller changes that you can do, such as textiles, throw blankets, artwork, things like that you can incorporate slowly in your space to kind of incorporate those bolder, darker, richer colors. For my number 5 is something that I've been really thinking about as I decorate my own space, but also as I continued on with my interior design in film series. For those of you who are new to the channel or maybe don't follow that series, I have an interior design in film series where I show you guys the sets and the interiors of some of my favorite movies. And I've been recently doing a deep dive into Nancy Meyers' work. And something that I really have noticed in her sets is intentional clutter. I think intentional clutter is so important when showcasing your personality and your identity into your space and your home. I think it really shows how you have curated your space over time. It shows your personality, it shows your interests, it shows who you are, and I love it so, so much. I think that for a time, minimalism and being extremely organized and clean and minimalistic was trending, but I think that incorporating all of these layers through your home decor, through your accent pieces, artwork, picture frames, all of these layers create so much visual interest into your space and can really be the key details to representing yourself into your own home. So I've definitely been incorporating this into my space. I am not afraid of layering objects on top of each other or behind one another. I love creating that depth and that interest in my spaces, whether that's when I'm styling a console table, a bookshelf, a nightstand, a side table, all of these elements, really layering your pieces and having that clutter, as long as it is organized and intentional, I think it can be extremely, extremely effective. Up next, I want to talk about unique lighting. I really want to see unique uses of lighting in 2025, whether that will be the placement of the lighting or the design of the actual lamp. I want to see more stores also provide more unique and original designs when it comes to their lighting. I think that for a while, table lamps or floor lamps really started to get a very generic look, but I think that we're seeing a lot more of these unique design styles when it comes to lighting. I recently just bought a shelf lamp from Target, and this is something that I never had before and I love it so, so much. It is from the Spring Magnolia 2025 collection, and it is this beautiful brass little lamp that you put on a shelf. It has a marble centerpiece to kind of use as a bookend, and then the curve of the lamp is so, so beautiful. The lampshade is a little bit more simple, but it works because of all of that interest that the lamp has, and I think it adds such a beautiful little visual interest into my space, and it is so unique. So seeing stores such as Target, which is so commercially available for a lot of people and it is easy to find, I just think that seeing these bigger brands starting to go a little bit more out there with the design of their lighting, it is really promising for what we might be able to see in 2025 when it comes to the design of lamps. So I would love to see more unique uses of design when it comes to table lamps and floor lamps, just trying to find those unique little pieces, maybe even at antique stores or thrift shops. You can always find some very unique and original designs. So using more original lighting is something that I would love to see more of this year. The next one, really quick, I want to mention the use of mixing metals. I love mixing metals, and I think that we can see a lot more of this in 2025. I think that for a while we really stirred into this brass and golden tones when it comes to our hardware, our faucets, and I would love to see the mixing of metals, maybe even going back to traditionals. I would love to see more uses of, for example, polished nickel faucets. I love the look of those. I think it is so elegant and so traditional. So mixing your metals when it comes to your hardware on, say, a kitchen. We mix the shapes, the tones, the kind of metals on whether the handles, the pull bars, the faucets, whatever it may be. Mixing metals in a space can give it such a designer and custom look, and it is definitely something that I would love to see more of. I was actually looking at the video from Shay McGee from Studio McGee when she was talking about her 2025 design trends, and she mentioned Western style and how the Western influence is really coming into interior design. Of course, we've seen Western fashion really be a thing in the last few years, but I think it is coming into interior design, and I really wanted to add this into my own video. For those of you guys who don't know, my family is in the equestrian industry, and I really grew up with a lot of Western influence in my parents and my family's own personal interior design style. So it is something that I would love to see being incorporated in general design. I think that Western interiors and the influence can be done so beautifully. It doesn't have to go extremely tacky and overboard and look like a Western film set or saddle ranch. It can be done very delicately and so beautifully. Adding these touches of Western influence through your space can really add a lot of interest into your space. We're nearing the end, and at number 9, I want to talk about architectural interest and architectural detailing. That is something that I've actually been incorporating into my own design style lately a little bit more, and it is something that we even saw a lot of in 2024. Incorporating a wall trim or picture frames or molding, crown molding, whatever it may be. Adding that layer of architectural interest into your space can elevate it so much, and it can give your room such elegance and beauty. It can be done as simply as adding a little trim on your wall or adding a lot of it. People have been really using this trend in 2024 to add a lot of visual interest and definition into their own space in 2024. However, I would love to see this being brought into 2025 in a much grander way. I would love to see the use of architectural detailing and incorporating this into our own spaces in a much bolder way. For example, with crown molding, I think that our ceilings can sometimes be something that we forget about or leave behind, but I think that we're really bringing a lot of focus into ceilings in 2025. And I would love to see the use of really bold crown molding, really thick molding around the ceiling. I think that can be so beautiful and add such a level of elegance and heighten your spaces a lot more. So that is something that I would love to see more, incorporating that architectural detailing into your own spaces. Even if you're renting, this is something that you can easily do using command strips, things like that, to make it renter friendly. And I think it is a very achievable DIY, and it can be so much fun and so beautiful in the end. Finally, at number 10, the thing I would love to see the most incorporated into interior design in 2025 is personality. Kind of steering away from any trends and showing our own personality. I think that our spaces are a reflection of who we are as people and as a family, or whoever may live in your own space. I think that it is an expression of ourselves. And incorporating your personality and having your own design style is something that I would love to see more of in 2025. Of course, following trends and recreating things that we see online and copying things that we see online can be so much fun, and to each their own. At the end of the day, you are decorating your spaces and designing your spaces for yourself and nobody else. So do whatever you want at the end of the day, but I would love to see people really expressing themselves and not being afraid to have their own design styles and show what they really love through their spaces and not really just following what they see online. I think that that can be such a beautiful thing, and I would love to see more uniqueness and personality in the media and in interior design this year. So that is my number 10 and the thing I would love to see the most of in 2025. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for today's video. It is so good to be back. It felt so good to sit in front of the camera and film this for you guys. I've been wanting to come back for so long and get content out for you guys. If you have been following me for a while, thank you so much for sticking through and really following me on this journey of creating content for you guys and following along as I try to find what I like making for you guys and I put all of these videos out. I know that maybe this was a little bit of a different video. These are really crazy times here, and we're all trying to do our best. So again, if you really want to make your research or you want to help in any way, you want to volunteer, you want to donate, whatever it may be, Remember that I left all the links in the description box down below for you guys so that they're easily accessible. But if you enjoyed today's video, definitely let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what kind of content you would like to see me for the rest of 2025. I really want to put out what you guys would like to see more of. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe, and you can hit the bell button to be notified every single time I make a new upload. That way you guys don't miss any of my videos. Subscribing really helps me and it's free, so definitely give it a chance. Join the family, join the channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.